Call the meeting to order, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, roll call. Spencer? Here. Cannon? Here. Richie? Here. South?
Yep.
Hey. Here. Need a motion to approve the prior minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Alright. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Report from county officers, county clerk.
I think the last meeting we had just had the election, but it's over with now. Got wrapped up on the 31st of March. And I went straight into tax extension, so I'm in the middle of tax extension right now. That's about it.
Okay. Treasurer Mike's at a conference, but everybody should have his report. Circuit clerk, ambulance, state's attorney.
Things are going well. We're currently in a jury trial that hopefully we'll get over tomorrow.
Okay. Sheriff.
Everything's going good. We do have a bid for the windows. I'm waiting on a second one this week. So once I get all those, we're gonna close that in April. Once I get all those, I'll bring it to the next meeting and you guys can go through them. Which one would be best suited. We had two old Humvees left that were behind State Attorney's office. I've talked to the VFW and the American Legion here in town. I want to donate one to each of them to do what they want. We're never going to use them. They're rough riding vehicles. I don't plan on driving 20 miles out in the country. So I figured I'd get better use out of them. I think the VFW, Gary Cates is going to fix one up, and they're going to use that to go through the parades and services, stuff like that, and fix it up so the guys can ride through and all that. And I'm going to get with them as soon as I get final paperwork. There's a little paperwork on my end to do to send off for titles for them. As soon as I get that, then they'll have their vehicles.
Alright. Supervisor of assessments, highway.
I don't have anything else on what's on the agenda tonight, which is some revised agreements from some bridges we passed a couple months ago that since then the forms have been revised by IDOT, so they requested us resubmit on the new dated forms. Just 2 days difference. So those are 3 bridges down around Pony Farm Road, south of there. Got 3 bridges in Harrisburg Township.
Okay. Alright, EMA.
Everything's going pretty good, pretty busy month really. Assisted with 6 vehicle accidents ranging from anything from a truck versus a horse to a vehicle hitting a guy on a wheelchair here in town, UTV wreck. 2 vehicle wreck here in town, 3 vehicle wreck here in town. Pretty busy with all that. I did coordinated a weather education class with the 4-H and the National Weather Service. Pretty good turnout for that. Kids really enjoyed it. Went to my quarterly IEMA meeting in Marion. Good class there. Went on 2 standbys with the ambulance for the sheriff's office for search warrants. And then we had a situation happen here in town at one of our clinics. We had an elderly gentleman cut his leg with a chainsaw and had an arterial bleed. Drove himself to the clinic, didn't realize it was arterial, knew it was bleeding bad, but thought, hey, I need to get my doctor instead of just didn't call 911. We realized a gap or equipment that is not in our clinics here in town because they're not urgent cares, they're not ERs. But they had a real eye opener when that guy almost bled out in their lobby. I mean, like 80/60 blood pressure, hallucinating. He was this close. If our ambulance wasn't in town, normally they're so busy, but if they weren't in town and had that tourniquet, he would have bled out in their clinic. So took it upon myself to find a way to provide trauma kits for our clinics. to have tourniquets, chest seals, stuff like that. I went to the Absher Charitable Foundation and asked if they would collaborate with me and sponsor it and help me. And they were absolutely, just whatever you need, let us know. So I got a list of everything with a price, and she also, at the end of it, she was like, well, what do you need? So on top of that, those bags all were like about $1,000 to make all for 5 clinics. And then she gave me an additional roughly, that was $1,000, so $3,350 for myself for equipment that was burned up pretty quick. I equipped myself with an AED, and some other things for the EMA to, that was very, very awesome. And then
That is awesome.
yet again, they just go above and beyond, and they're awesome to work with.
That's great.
Yeah. Other
Awesome.
than that,
Thank you. All right. TV 4991, okay. Administrators report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we will be in attendance of IACO as well, the Illinois Association of County Officials this week. They do trainings for county clerks, county recorders, assessors. They do some VA. They have county board training there. It's in Springfield this year, so there's going to be a lot of legislative updates from them. So we're looking forward to that training. The circuit clerks are there, so there's a lot of good material there. So we're looking forward to being at Illinois Association of County Officials in Springfield this week. I know Mike's already there, so we'll look forward to running into him. And then next week we have a training with the Illinois Extension on battery storage units. So the battery storage facilities as they affect local governments. So this is going to be a training for municipalities and counties that are meeting with the Illinois Extension and UCCI, giving information on how we can affect the ordinances with the battery backups coming. Using that as a segue, so next month is the last month to make updates for SB 25, the state mandates changes for solar and wind. Those have to be updated by June 1st. So next month is our last time we can do that to be in compliance. So we identified 4 pages worth of changes that have to be made to bring us into compliance that we'll email out to you. It's a lot to go through, so I want to get to you early so you can go through those. Our recommendation is to go as stringent as you can through the state guidelines. One of their coined phrases that they used was that the document was that the SB 25 was the solar bill of rights, that they were protecting solar companies. So that tells you that this is like your opportunity to go as strict to the state guidelines as you can. Be our recommendation. So our proposed draft will be all the way turned up. If you use a stereo analogy, we have the volume turned all the way up. If you are looking to dial it back down, we'll talk about the different areas. We can come back down to our recommendation based on what the state guidelines are, is to take what you can get because they're not going to give us much space. So if that's how we're writing it, we'll get that in front of you along with those cliff notes on what's changing, on setbacks, on max fees, on how the funding for decommissioning is done by percentage now. It has to be, the decommissioning has to be evaluated by an engineer, and then you're only allowed to charge 10% of financial annuity up front, and then it staggers up from there as the cost of salvage goes down. So it severely limits what you can charge for decommissioning, and then it limits it to your bond, letter of credit, or escrow. So it defines what you can ask for. You can't ask for cash, obviously. So we'll have updates in your emails for those on what's to come. There is a statement for zoned counties that have to do a public hearing to make changes to your solar or wind. So their language and how it's required for zoned counties is a little funky because of the non-zoned counties, it's still considered a zoning ordinance, even though you're not a zoned county. So even though you're not a zoned county, that language for zoned counties still applies to you, so we do recommend to have a public hearing. So we'll look to schedule a public hearing prior to the board meeting next month to go over some of these changes prior to it being approved. That way we can hold the solar and wind companies accountable for what we can. As for a battery backup, those SB 25 changes do apply to the battery backup, but the required changes aren't due for batteries until September 29th. So we can schedule the change to that one back to September's meeting, and you don't have to do 3 at once, but we can knock out the wind and solar. Any questions?
Okay, so need a motion to improve your report now. No, I'm sorry, I'm still in softball mode. Okay, public comment. Do we have anybody for public comment?
I was gonna see if there's any updates with the Ameren debacle and Boomtown Solar.
Have they done anything yet?
Nope.
Okay.
And more trees have died.
I got in contact and I got a reply by Tabitha Bono. She said it's supposedly in the works. I asked her for an update yesterday and she hasn't got back to me yet, but she is currently my point of contact.
Did
I can
she
give
say
you-
like what?
She didn't say, that's what I was asking for an update, like
Oh, okay.
specifically, like what are you guys planning on doing? But she said it is in the planning that they're going to like redo the vegetation. She didn't say what they were gonna do.
On all 4 sides, cause currently there's nothing.
And I specifically
To the
said,
north.
can you address around this address specifically?
Yeah.
And so hopefully you, when they start, you will be the first one, but if she gives me an email update, I can, did I get your contact information last time? I can
Yeah.
let you know if she updates me this week.
That's fine. Thank you.
We have a fire out at the solar in the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
One in Enfield, I think. Last week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, I think.
Russia, okay.
I think
There's something about infills that's always, infills solars are
There's one
4
out
or
by
5
us
times.
2 or 3 months ago. Well, when the snow was on the ground,
Yeah.
but it was all hush hush. Nobody ever talked about that.
Yeah, we need to keep track of that kind of stuff though, because that seems to be happening.
I
They're
noticed the
taking
other,
care of the vegetation inside the fence
those poor sheep.
with sheep at infield, I
That's
know for
awful.
a fact. They were having it mowed, but now they bring sheep in.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's what they tried to sell us on.
Yeah, it's $250,000 to have it mowed.
Yeah.
And they were like, they put the brakes on that pretty quick up there. didn't they?
They're not mowing or have sheep
Yeah.
at Centerville currently. Weeds are probably close to
Does,
waist
do
high.
we have any, I mean, can we do anything like that besides just keep sending the fines, the notices, the whatever?
I mean, we have the nuisance ordinance in place now.
Right.
I mean, it's in there for them to maintain it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just making it harder and harder, well, this new stuff is even making it harder.
It shouldn't, it says in there though, it doesn't apply to them if they were permitted prior to.
Prior to that.
Yeah, so they're not protected by that.
Is that one
Getting information about it.
at Enfield still Big River? Is that what that one is?
I thought it,
yeah, I think it may have changed hands.
Yeah.
I'll talk to her afterwards.
Anything else? Alright. Moving on to the consent agenda. Item 1, discussion and possible approval of BET environmental bills for $13,717.07, Q1 and 2 sampling and final invoice of supplemental permit background study. Item 2, discussion and possible approval of a resolution for 17-28-214-002 to Aaron Summers. Item 3, discussion and possible approval of a resolution for MS-50-0091-0 to Alexander Development and Leasing Company LLC. Item 4, discussion and possible approval to revise engineering agreements for section 24-07124-00-BR for bridges over Grindstone Creek and Harold's Prairie. Alright, is there anything anybody wants removed for discussion? Alright, then need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Alright, probably need a roll call, right?
Spencer?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Hershey?
Yes.
South?
Yes.
Higgs?
Yes. There's no old business, any new business. Item A, discussion and possible approval of an ordinance granting a sitting permit application under the provisions of White County, Illinois, Commercial Solar Energy Facility Sitting Ordinance on petition of Pivot Energy IL 75 LLC. Alright, so this is essentially what we already approved, but now this is signing off on the final order because they did agree to pay the 10 grand to the additional property owner. So this is just finalizing all that.
And they paid that through the county, correct?
Yes, they will, once everything's signed, they haven't paid it yet, but once everything's signed, then they will issue it to the county and we will disperse it to
Right.
the property owners. That way there's no signing of anything by the property owners or any of that.
I'll make the motion and approve it.
Second.
Alright,
Spencer?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Hershey?
Yes.
South?
Yes.
yes. Alright, claims, need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Alright, roll call vote.
Spencer?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Hershey?
Yes.
South?
Yes.
Higgs?
Yes. Alright, executive session, does anybody have anything for executive session? Okay, M, County Board member non-action items and comments. Next meeting will be on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Need a motion to adjourn.
Hang on a minute now.
What?
We got this here, solar rules.
Yeah, we'll have to do a,
So it'll be a separate meeting. So
Yeah,
your-
it'll be a public hearing.
Your regular board meeting will still be at 7. If you're available, I would like to go ahead and, get with the clerk to schedule that at 6:45 for that hearing.
Okay.
And then if the hearing goes late, we can start the board meeting up later, but 6:45 for the hearing, and then 7 o'clock if we're done, if we're not okay for the board back.
Okay. Well, I was just,
Yeah.
I mean, last time we had one of them early babies,
Yeah.
I forgot it.
Alright, so need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright.